The Employees icon in Aussie Time Sheets software is where you manage the employees using your timesheet system. When you click on Employees on the home screen, it takes you straight to Employees in the Setup area. To edit an existing employee, simply click on their name on the left in the list. To add a new employee, click the Add button. And let's go through these fields we see here. The active checkbox at the top indicates whether this will be an active employee right now or whether we are archiving an existing user. Active employees show in your lists within the application and on reports. Archived users will drop off all your lists for internal reporting until you make them active again, but all their history will retain in the system. The user ID field is the number that is assigned to the employee on the actual time clock itself, and this can only be a numeric value. For example, let's add a new employee, employee 100, that will enroll on our time clock as employee 100. We also have a payroll number field. Now this can be an alphanumeric value, and this relates to the employee code that this employee has in your payroll software. So your employee in your payroll software may be known as EMP100, for example. Now it's this value that will identify the employee on all internal reports and payroll exports. We now enter our employee's first and last name and assign them the date that they start employment with us. Now no timesheet data can be generated before this date. The card number field is used to enter an employee's RFID or proximity card number that we can then send to our time clock. If you're not using cards or key tags, you can leave this field blank. We can also assign the employee a PIN code to use on any of the time clocks. If you're not using PIN codes, if you're using face or fingerprint scans, for example, then you can leave this field blank too. The clock privilege field indicates whether this employee will have access to the menu of the time clock to make any changes within the time clock itself. A normal user is an employee that cannot access the menu. A super admin is an employee that has access to the menu of the clock to make any changes required, such as changing the date, network settings, deleting employees or data as well. So nearly all of your employees will be added as a normal user. The fingerprint indexes and face template fields aren't editable, and this information will be automatically populated when you download this employee from your time clock. And it's going to let you know how many fingerprints they have enrolled on the clock or whether they have a face template enrolled on the clock or not. The rest of the fields here relate to address and contact details, which are just used internally within the application. On the right here, we can add employee photos to identify the employee. If we have quite a number of employees, adding a photo can help us visually identify which employee this is. If you're using any of our face scan time clocks, after the employees are enrolled on the clock, you can download a copy of everyone's photos onto a USB stick and load them here and tag them to each employee. At the bottom here, we must assign the employee to a department to be able to continue, and we must assign them to a work schedule as well, a collection of daily calculation rules. For details on setting up these two items, please see our other support articles. Once we've entered the correct information for this employee, we can click Save. Please note the employee can only be assigned to one work schedule at a time and one department at a time. Now that we've saved this employee, the software knows who this employee is and what to do with their times when they're populated into the software. For details on how to send this employee's information to your time clocks and enroll, please see our other support articles relating to our time clocks sync option.